Kim Il-sung is still a very important part of Korean history and society, with a strong cult of personality still prominent to this day. For my project, I wanted to analyze sources, both Western and North Korean, on Kim Il-sung and see what kind of image surrounds him. I came to the conclusion that because of the efficient and clever use of myth, rewritten history, and propaganda, the cult of Kim Il-sung has had and still has a powerful influence in North Korea. It is important to understand that many myths often shape our view of North Korea. Because of the nature of North Korea, its government, and propaganda, it is common for its historical accounts to be full of myth. This can be tricky because these myths are often based on past historical events, making it even more difficult to analyze the life of Kim Il-sung. But this can bring about a new interesting element because even though North Korea's histories are filled with historical inaccuracies, it can give us a view of how they want us to view Kim Il-sung. North Korean history has been written and rewritten to paint a glorious image of Kim and his accomplishments during his guerrilla activities and political life. However, many of these biographies end in 1950, thus only highlighting his accomplishments up until the Korean War. His North Korean biographies tell of how, even from his youth, he founded his own Korean communist parties and partisan groups, when in reality he fought under Chinese guerrilla groups for the majority of the anti-Japanese war. In the North Korean narrative, Kim is credited for being the hero and the savior that saved the Koreans from the Japanese and won the war, and that he carried the heavy burden of the Korean Revolution on his shoulders. In addition to rewritten history, propaganda played a massive role in spreading Kim's cult of personality and solidifying his power. Kim needed to be portrayed as loyal, positive, and full of love and emotion. It was also important to depict his relationship with the masses and show him as archetype of a great human being. This is why we often see many images of Kim interacting with children and the masses. Not only was propaganda used in the streets and in public places, but it was also an important part of the educational system. This method is an extremely effective way of ingraining ideas into the minds of young, impressionable youth and raising them up under a cult of personality. For the next several decades, Kim's image would begin appearing everywhere. His name and quotations in newspapers had to be in bold. He was taught as the great leader in schools and referred as such in newspapers and articles written about him. By 1970, all North Koreans had to wear badges with his face, and these badges had to be treated with great care. A key reason the cult thrives is that the people know nothing else. Through strict control of history and historical records, media, and propaganda, the state has been able to keep the Kim family at the forefront of everyone's minds. North Korea, from its founding, has had a large amount of Soviet and Chinese influence, but in hopes of creating a uniquely Korean nationalistic state, these outside influences are not mentioned in official history. Kim was able to seize control and use it to effectively control the masses and create his very own North Korea.